Welcome, everybody. It's time to start cruising into a better financial future with your host, Kim Cruz. Hey, everybody. It's time to go cruising into a better financial future with your host, Kim Cruz.
Hello, everyone. I am Kim Cruz. I am a wife, a mom, a daughter, sister, friend, entrepreneur, and business owner of Cruz Credit Consulting, but not necessarily in that order. I do have over 30 years experience in corporate America and a passion for helping people succeed in all areas of their life. I'm joined by my great friend, Adam Strum. He is the brains behind this production. He is a former corporate executive, the owner of Financial Rescuers, and co-owner of U.S. Financial Alliance, and a 20-year veteran of helping people get out of debt and improve their financial health. Together, we review our listeners' financial problems and address them with our experience, tips, tricks, and resources of network referrals to help you cruise into a better financial future. Adam.
You make me sound so busy. Oh my gosh. And on top of that, I run On Target Strategies, my business consulting firm, and I sit on the board of directors of AMRAC Anti Bully, which is an anti bullying organization headquartered in Florida. So, I slept once in 77, didn't like it much, decided I'd never do it again. Here we are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. We have a very special guest, a serial entrepreneur, a man who decided that he didn't want to work for others, he wanted to work for himself. And I'm going to let Kim give a more accurate description of our guest and tell you all about him.
Yes, thanks, Adam. I am so excited to have you here with us, Angel. We have
Thank
Angel
you.
Serna. He is the founder and chief operating officer of ABN Circle, a full service marketing company. And he is also a veteran of the U.S. Army. So thank you very much for your service, Angel. And Angel has been involved in many, many different opportunities. And I personally know that he has helped so many entrepreneurs get to where they want to be. He is a wealth of information, and I'm so excited to have you chime in today on our topic about entrepreneurship and small businesses. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Adam, for having me. I love everything that you guys are doing with this show. I've been watching it, and it's great information. I really recommend that anybody that's been tuning into this to keep watching this. I've learned, I have to be very humble and say that even though I've learned a lot over the past few years in what I'm doing, I'm learning even more, and I've learned a few things through you guys through this show. So it's great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
awesome.
for the compliment.
Yeah, thank you. And that's exactly why we do what we do, because there's so much information out there. And that's what we want to do, help educate people and give them information that they didn't have.
That's awesome.
So,
It's what it's all about. And we're going to start off this week with our news article of the week. And I've got a doozy for this one. President elect Joe Biden has been pushing for months. One of his agenda plans is to create a fourth credit reporting bureau. We all know of TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, but he wants to create a fourth one that would be publicly run instead of privately owned and operated, forcing it to be under the scrutiny of the federal government rather than under the scrutiny of the courts separately. Right now, when you have a dispute with Experian, you have to take them to court. They can afford as many lawyers as they want. It takes forever to get a dispute resolved. With a public option, you'd be able to get much faster response time and a much more accurate overview because they won't be looking at who the person is, but only at the factors that affect their credit. So that being said, the article comes out of CNBC and out of creditcards.com. It can be found there. And we're going to get some opinions. We'll start with Kim and we'll move from there.
well, I think it's amazing that people don't realize that the credit bureaus are private entities. So they are operating under their own terms, and there is no accountability. So most people, when they have issues or problems or troubles with their credit score, they can contact them directly, but they're not going to get very far because like we just talked about, those algorithms are proprietary information and nobody quite knows how credit scores are calculated. So there's really no accountability with the way that it's being done right now. And people don't understand that these are not government run agencies. Kind of reminds me of the days of UPS when I worked there. Everybody thought UPS was a government entity. It's not. It was a privately held company. So same situation. They're
They
private
thought the
companies.
same thing about Verizon back in my days with them, so I understand that. Angel, what are your opinions?
I honestly think that that'd be a blessing. I know a great deal of people currently right now that they want to expand their business, or they want to do something, say like invest into a house or certain things like that, but they have marks on their records from way back in the day that they've been trying to dispute or go against, but it's a never ending of waiting, submit, wait, just to get a letter that says, we didn't find whatever. But it I agree with Kim completely when she says that there's no accountability here. There really isn't. You're calling a call center that doesn't really care about you, because there's no incentive for them to care about you.
No, there's
You
no
know,
problem.
at all. At the end of the day, they still get paid. So if your issue gets resolved or not, they don't care. And I'm going to guess that there's thousands upon thousands of files on their desk. So to me, I bring it back to when I used to work at the law firm. We used to say, we used to tell our clients, because it was a private law firm, we used to tell our clients, well, the issue with having a public defender is that even though he went to law school, he's got a stack of files on his desk, and his thing is he just wants to get them off. He doesn't care, right? So the service is there, but are you really getting the service that you deserve? And I think that by having this fourth credit union established, people will finally get the service they deserve, which will allow them to really expand how they want with their lives and their dreams.
Couldn't agree with you more. I'll just add my 2 cents like I do on every news article. Take it for what it's worth. Take 1 cent if you want. Take them both. Take none. But along with the accountability factor, I'm taking it a step deeper. I read the full article, and it would be nice if there was a way to expose how this works. Because a private entity, as we all know, can be influenced by outside sources.
Mhm.
And what I was just saying a moment ago when Angel was speaking, there's no profit in it. See, we're all equally profitable to the credit reporting bureaus. There is no one is worth more than anyone else to them, because they get paid the same amount for housing my information as they do for housing Jeff
Mhm.
Bezos's information.
Mhm.
It's no different. So they should actually treat us all equally, and yet that does not happen. As mentioned in our Understanding Credit episode, you can see the link down below, or just check out our channel. Your zip code can affect your credit score,
Mhm.
because somewhere in their algorithm, they're looking at what the default rates in your area are, and you become a slightly higher risk.
Mhm.
Actuaries take all this time. So a public option would open up through, Freedom of Information Act requests to find out how they're doing their calculations, and to finally know, here's why. Here's what has to be done. As private entities, they can afford to fight the legal battles forever. We can't. Now,
Well, I do want to add to that. Like you said, we can't afford to fight those legal outcomes, but we are not the consumer of the credit bureaus, and that's a big misconception.
no,
They
it's the
don't
opposite.
take
They're the consumer of
exactly.
us.
They are their
They
product,
house our right.
right?
They're selling us to other companies.
Hmm.
Access to their database is sold to companies that want to market products to us.
Hmm.
So yeah, we are a piece of their profit making machine, yet we're treated as garbage in their eyes, and it
Yeah,
makes no sense to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could see why a lot of creditors are not going to be a fan of this.
Hmm.
I could already see that. As a matter of fact, I could see big bank investors not even like this, because the simple fact that you just said zip codes, how zip codes could play a factor. Well, we could really get into long conversation about that, right?
Right, and it goes
About
even deeper. I'm using something
oh
that's middle of the road. We can
yeah,
micro dissect it down to, hey, his credit score is the way he is because he has a hangnail. Okay.
Yeah.
We could actually get to that.
Yeah.
On that note, that's perfect. I want to say that Angel and I have had some incredible talks on the phone. I want to give him a couple of minutes to tell everybody about himself, his story, because it's an amazing story and it's proof that you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it and have the determination to get it done. So, Angel, tell everyone about your background, why you're our guest today.
Okay. So yeah. Again, thank you so much for the introduction here. So I've been in sales for over, I'd say for over like 15, 20 years. I've been in sales. Um, I was in the military when I was in the army. I served with them from the age of 17 to 23. I was only supposed to do reserves, but 9/11 happened 2001, and I became active. Right, I would only come back here to the U.S. or I'd be put on leave, and when I'd be put on leave, I would take up, say, an intern job at City Hall, with the hopes that eventually I'd become a city employee. I wanted to become, a relocation specialist because I was working at 10th floor, 18 years old, Department of Planning and Development. Right, I was their gopher boy. Go for this, go for that. Right, and I thought that was the bee's knees. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Right. Um, when I finished my service with the army, I wanted to be an actual city employee, but there was a lot of things that were happening at the time. A lot of politics obviously always goes into working for a city entity or government entity. So it was wait, wait, wait. So I took up jobs as an admin assistant at certain places because I was good at office stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever, it's good. This is great. Making $25,000 a year. I'm like, ooh. Um, and then I ran into a friend of mine. I ran into a friend of mine. His name is Tommy, and pulls up in front of my mom's house because he's from the neighborhood. Parks there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, look at your car. I'm like, Tommy, what'd you do? Like, and he's like, well, I work in sales. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man. I got into logistics, trucking logistics, back then in 2000, 2004, 2005, before the market got all crazy. Logistics, transportation was really hot, was really good. So I was like, wow, like, how many hours are you working? Are you working like 80 hours a week? And he was like, no, I'm actually working, 50, 60 hours a week. And he's like, "What do you do?" And I told him, and he's like, "You know what, Angel? Listen, you're a smart individual, but I'm going to tell you something, and I want this to stick to you." And what's funny about him saying this to me is that I never saw him ever again after that. Okay, he ended up moving to Florida, and I don't know what happened, but I never saw him. But this is the last thing I remember him saying to me. He said, "Angel, the reason I got into sales is because in sales, it's the only profession where you determine your own paycheck. Okay, you determine your own paycheck." You could right now you're going to go work as hard as you possibly can, and they're going to give you a 25-cent raise by the end of the year if you're lucky, right? If it's in their budget. But with sales, you tell them, look, here's my base. I'm going to earn my own commission, and then you decide how much your commission is. So I started getting into sales. I really didn't know much about it. I worked at Career Builder when Builder was big.
Mhm.
Just cold calling businesses. That was a crash course into getting a lot of no's, getting a lot of rejection. Um, from there, Career Builder started going a little bit wonky. So I got introduced to a logistics company called Echo Global Logistics. And through there, I worked with them for a year. Then market obviously in 2008 got bad. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah, lived through it.
Yeah. So, there's cut downs. There's cut downs, and I then started working for eventually getting little jobs here and there. I started working for a law firm where I was doing uh, phone sales nationwide for debt consolidation, for debt resolution, even for bankruptcy. I was doing um, uh, sales calls for them. So it was warm leads. Leads are coming in. We just call them. We close them over the phone. Did that for a year and a half. Certain policy changes ended up happening. So I ended up leaving there. Ended up working for this company that was doing print. Didn't like it at all. I was just at this point of doing so many sales, I started to become a little bit more of like, what's really bringing me happiness? But I wasn't fully there yet, right? I wasn't. I was still that guy just seeing what I could get. I was still kind of like a scavenger, if you might be like, oh, look, I found something. This is good. This is going to feed me. But not a guy with vision. Like, oh, if I'm going to build this and this is what's going to bring me this happiness and joy. That I wasn't there yet. I wasn't. What's the cool quote nowadays? I wasn't woke, right? I wasn't woke yet.
You were still
Um,
foggy.
yeah, I was still, I was still, I was still under the under the radar with my visions, right, with my dreams. But I started working at this at this other law firm, which they taught me a lot. It's a consumer law group. They 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 humbled me a lot. They showed me a different way of approaching sales. I focused heavily into the Latino community. I helped that. I was one of their first sales guys. So I helped them go from a $50,000 net profit law firm, so 50,000 per month net profit law firm, to a 1 million per month net
Wow.
profit law firm.
Wow.
Okay, it took some time, 7.5 years, right? Took some time, but it was awesome. I got to learn a lot. I got to meet a lot of people. But one of the things that I started meeting though from meeting all these Latino clients is that there's a lot of immigrants that were coming here to the U.S. and these immigrants had left everything that they knew, their parents, their friends,
Mhm.
coming here to this I don't know where you might be from, but I'm from Chicago and I love Chicago, but we have crappy weather. So coming to Chicago, crappy weather, from tropical to crappy. And they were doing it because they're like, hey, this is the land of opportunity.
Mhm.
I want my piece of pie. I want some of that, right?
Right.
And they're coming here, giving it 110%, saving, knowing how to invest, and becoming you know real estate tycoons, right? They're actually doing something, right? They're providing
Sure.
jobs. They're boosting the neighborhood economy. They're doing a lot of great things, right?
Mhm.
And I started seeing this, and this is when I started to like kind of say to myself, hey, you know, it's great that you're doing this at this law firm. You love it and you love them. It's great, but maybe it's time for you to actually be that pioneer for yourself. Maybe it's time for you to migrate from being an employee to being a boss, to being your own boss, right?
Mhm.
I just didn't really know how to go about it, right? Um, I knew I was helping I was helping certain establishments in Chicago with certain marketing because I was really good at sales. I was really good at sales, still really good at sales. Introduce me to an Eskimo, I'll sell them some ice. Um,
You and I
but
had that conversation.
yes, we did. um, and I was consulting certain businesses, and I was going pretty well for them. Somebody said to me, man, Angel, like you should go into consulting. I was like, yeah, still again, a little bit afraid of doing it. And I got to meet a lot of people through the law firm, and I got to meet a lot of people through consulting these businesses, these nightclubs, these bars. I got to meet hundreds and hundreds of people, right? And one of the things that's always been instilled in me by my family is always be humble, be really humble. Don't be condescending.
Mhm.
Don't don't think yourself above people, and actually just try to be as helpful as possible. Organically, just help people, right? And because of that, I started to gain somewhat of a reputation of as a person that can actually guide you, help you, things of that nature, right? But again, I had not found of how I can build something out of this. It wasn't until September. Was it August or September? August. No, no, September of 2017. Yeah, my memory there. Um, of 2017, when the hurricane hit Puerto Rico
Mhm.
and the earthquake hit Mexico. One of my best friends, he's Puerto Rican, and we were watching this, and we started tearing up. We started crying. We're like, oh my God, all these people are dying, you know. And we know the situation, what was going on in Puerto Rico. These people were not getting the supplies they needed. It's just
Wait,
nobody was
wait.
really.
You mean paper towels weren't enough?
Oh no, no, no.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm
Surprisingly,
not getting political. I'm just asking because I saw the
yeah,
meme
I was
getting
like,
free paper
you know,
towels.
yeah. I'm like, wow, the hero is here, yay! But But no, so I started seeing that, and we started to hear about supplies that were being sent to Mexico. The government over there was holding it, they were hiding it, and they were going to give it out until people voted for them.
Mhm.
So I was like, I can't believe this is insane. My friend Mikey, he tells me, he's like, hey, you know people in Puerto Rico, you know people in Mexico, you know a lot of people here in the US. I'll help you. Let's do something. And I was like, you know what? Dang it, we're going to do something. We're going to help these people. We're going to help these people. We're going to help them. Right? He said, okay, cool. He said, what are we going to do, Angel? I'm like, we're going to cold call all these businesses, all these restaurants, Puerto Rican restaurants, and Mexican restaurants. We're going to call these people and say, hey, would you mind giving us a donation? Because we're going to do an event, and we're going to host it at this place, and we're going to sell the food, we're going to sell tickets, and we're going to donate the money to these locations. So we had
And
a
the
list
whole
of,
world would be watching so that the government couldn't steal it.
yes, yes. So we're like, yes, so optimistic, so ready to go, right? Um, call these businesses, right? We had a small list of businesses. Out of all the list of businesses, they all said no, no to us. We're like, what the heck's going on here? Well, what's your company name? I'm like, I'm Angel Serna. I'm from the neighborhood. I don't have a company. I'm just trying to do a good thing. They're like, okay, where's your non for profit form? Where your 501(c)(3)s? I'm like, I don't have that, but let me explain to you something. Let me just click, and it was click, 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 and it irritated me so much. And I remember thinking to myself, do I quit right now and just say, hey, I tried, or do I evolve from this? And coincidentally, 2 weeks before this happened, I had a dream and about Glenn Ross,
Mhm.
right?
One of my favorites.
Yeah, one of the Baldwin brothers, right there on the chalkboard, right there. ABC, right? ABC, always be closing. Funny enough, in my dream, the last letter was not a C; it was an N. And when he wrote it down, it said, "Always be networking." And then it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? These people want a company. I'm going to create a company. And that's when I created ABN. Always be networking. So I created the company. I went through the steps, and I started reaching out to businesses. We got food. We got all those things. We donated money. It wasn't as much, but to me, it was an accomplishment. I could have quit, and I kept going forward with it. Businesses saw that I did what I did. They were like, "How'd you do this? Where'd you learn this?" And I was like, "Logic, internet, lots of YouTube videos."
Ability.
Yeah,
Trial and
You
error.
have the
Yep.
ability, you come across really well. You have the ability to connect with people. I
Mhm.
do it, Kim does it. It's part of the entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
don't have that ability and you're looking to start a business, which is what we're going to get into in a couple of minutes because we have mailbag questions for you and we're going to answer them as well. But if you
yeah.
don't have the ability to connect with people, it doesn't stop you from owning a business. But what it does do is make you go out and find a friend who does have the ability to connect with
Exactly,
people so that you can
exactly.
partner up and take what you have, which may be the drive, and what they have, the ability to connect, to always be networking,
Yeah,
and you combine those into what could be a very big company. I mean,
exactly,
that's how Microsoft got started. People don't
exactly,
realize
exactly.
that Steve Jobs and what's his name over at Microsoft. See, my memory not so good either. There we go.
Bill Gates.
Bill
That
Gates.
guy,
Thank you.
Bill.
They
Yeah.
were they were good friends when the whole thing started. They just had a difference of opinion at what the base operating system for a home computer should be, and
Yeah,
they split up over that and went their own separate ways and both became billionaires. So it's always be networking is beautiful. I love that movie. That's one of my favorites. Do you
yeah.
remember what the other acronym was?
Oh,
I'll
that's the
give
one
you
that
the I'll
just
give you the initials. It's AIDA. ADA.
Ada. God, again, here's my memory.
Attention, attention, interest, decision, action.
Attention. Oh
Interest, decision,
yes,
action.
yes, yes, yes. Yes. Oh, I should know this. I should know this. One of our assistants, her name was Ada. We used to always say Glenn Ross. She's like, stop that.
Yeah, it was real easy. I mean, I love that movie. I use that in a lot of my training sessions for salespeople.
Yeah.
The
You,
attention, interest, decision, action part, especially. Attention, as in, do I have your attention? Are you interested? because I don't want to waste my time. Let's make a decision together of what you want from me. And here's the bottom line, sign it and we're done.
Yeah.
Attention, interest, decision, action.
You
And
know, and I love that. I love that a lot. And what's brought me success is that a lot of people think that I'm a natural salesperson, but the reason I've been able to get myself at a higher level is because I've convinced myself that I'm a good salesperson. It's a lot about mind, like state of mind, right?
definitely, it's a mindset,
Absolutely,
no doubt
mindset.
about it.
Yes.
So ADA could be something that you can actually look in the mirror and say that to yourself, like, hey, do I really have your attention? Is this something you're interested in? Are you going to make a decision? Are you going to put action to it?
All right. So
So when
I'm
you
a
say,
former stand-up comic. All right. And I know I am, except
Here
when
we
I was
go.
except when I was tired, then I was a sit-down comic.
there we
But either
go.
way, I was a former stand-up comic, and Jeff Foxworthy and I are of the same opinion that comics are born, not made. You can't teach timing of a joke. You can't teach the proper telling of a joke when an audience, you can see in their faces how to speed up or slow down. You really can't teach all that. You feel it. And if you don't feel it, you're not going to be a great comedian.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
But as far as sales, it's the opposite. Great salesmen are made, not born. You're taught certain tips, tricks, like
Yes.
Kim says at the beginning of the episode. There are definite things that can be taught. I've seen shy, nervous, hide under the desk individuals become some of the greatest salespeople ever because the confidence comes when they learn the tricks that make people go, oh, please tell me more.
Yeah.
And there's lots of tricks that make people say that, even if you're selling the most ludicrous items on earth. I mean, there's a woman in upstate New York who has an online business selling dried buffalo chips. We're talking about doo doo here. She
We've
shapes
talked about
them.
her.
Yeah, well,
What?
Isa talks about her too. Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
But she has a multi-million-dollar business
Wow.
selling little figurines made of animal poop.
What?
Well, it's no worse than the pet rock. I bring that up quite often too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guy had an
Yeah.
idea. There's too many rocks in my yard.
Like,
How do I make $1 million? I
like,
convince
like,
people.
why didn't I think about the crystalline poop design?
You know what? I'd rather not work with poop. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sounds like a crappy job.
you can teach good salesmanship, and you, from what I've experienced, taught it to yourself, which is amazing. You didn't go to all these classes and didn't go to the Dale Carnegie School and all these
Yeah.
other things. You learned it by experiencing it, by seeing what
Yeah.
worked, by trial and error. And I commend
Exactly.
you for that, because where you
Thank
are
you.
now is a testament to learning all those skills, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, remembering them, writing them down, and making them rules.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have personally seen Angel in action, and I have seen him. I've been part of conversations where you talk to people that are interested in entrepreneurship and you guide them every step of the way. And I can truly say you do such a fantastic job because you truly care and you give that off. You are very humble, but you know your stuff and you can deliver it and you can help people succeed. So I commend you for that. And like I said, I
Thank you
witnessed
so
it
much.
in action.
Thank you so much. Those are very kind words. It really means a lot to me. And yes, I do believe in everything I preach. I believe into it. Like I say this to my clients. Like anything that I am offering you is something I am currently using or have used. I'm never going to offer something that I haven't tested myself. Right. It's like, I guess that's a military thing. My drill sergeant used to say, I'll never do something that I can't do 2 times more than you. Right. And to me, it's the same thing here. And because of that, people trust me and say, hey, well, if he's using that system, or if he's practicing this and I see how it's going for him, I'm going to give him a little bit of trust, and then it's on me to earn the rest of his trust, earn the rest of their trust. But yeah, I'm passionate about what I do, and it's like the oath of the chef, right? The chef makes the food with love, and it tastes lovely, right? But if the chef hates the person, well, guess how your food's going to taste?
Cardboard.
Yeah.
Well, because of your expertise and knowledge, that's exactly why you're the perfect guest to have on for today's segment.
Thanks.
And that being said, we're going to go to our mailbag. Now, Angel, I know you haven't been on the show. I know you've watched a few episodes, but between our companies, between the three companies I run, the two companies Kim runs, and of course this show itself, where you can all email your questions to questions@cruisingintoabetterfinancialfuture.com. You'll find that in the description below, right down there somewhere. And email us your questions. We've gotten hundreds since we opened the channel. We chose five that pertain to your field of expertise, Angel. And
Okay.
so I'm going to have Kim throw the first question. We're going to let you give the first answer today. They're all about being in business and starting a business, and it's what you do best. So, if that being said, we're going to go through five people's questions that Kim and I spent hours toiling choosing this week. They're made just for you. You won't be first every time. We're going to rotate who goes first with our answers. But let's see
Okay.
if we can help these five people understand starting a business and being in business just a little bit better.
Got it.
So, Kenny in Kentucky, he reached out to us, Kenny from Kentucky. Do I need good credit to open up a business? So,
All
what
right.
would
Well,
your answer be to Kenny?
all right. Well, Kenny, do I need good credit to open up a business? That's a great question. Not necessarily, but it does help. Um, what you should really be asking yourself is how much of an investment will I have to make the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth month? And how do your finances currently look, right? There's some businesses that you could start with under $1,000, right? There's some businesses that you need $10,000. By understanding what is the amount of money you're going to need every month, it'll allow you to better forecast or better strategize what type of income you're going to need, right? So if your income isn't at a level where you're comfortable in funding every month, then credit is something that will be necessary for you, right? Can it be done? Can you do it without it? Yes, it'll be a little bit harder, but you know, good credit always helps. Just so you know, 79% of new businesses, they fail because of lack of money, right? So that's a huge number, 79%. So the more you have at your reach, the better it is for you, the less stress, and the more you can focus on other things that you need to do for your business. So to answer your credit is do you need good credit to open up your business? You don't need it to open up your business, but it's not just about opening up your business, it's also about maintaining your business. So in my opinion, focus on getting good credit, so not only can you open your business, but you could also maintain it and go past first, second, third year.
Hit that
Excellent
hit that
information.
home run.
Yep.
All right, so Kenny, I'm glad you're still alive because I heard they killed Kenny like 4,000 times on Comedy Central. But um, I'm glad you're with us, and you asked an important question, and Angel's answer is right on. It's spot on. But I'm going to look at another side of it. I'm going to turn this question a little bit and say unequivocally, no, and yes. What I mean by that is simple. Do you need good credit in the eyes of credit bureaus? No. Do you need good credit in the eyes of the people you want to service with your product or service? Yes. And I'm sure Angel's going to agree with what I just said. Um, the ability to market yourself is more important than the credit, because if you have enough support from the field around you, the credit's not going to be that important. We have Shark Tank for that reason.
Mhm.
Shark Tank goes out there. People go out there. I have this new juice that grows hair from your ear to your toe, and and Kevin O'Leary's like, no one will ever buy it. No thanks. These people
I was the
present
one
their.
person that bought it.
My sister bought it. Now I can't find her. She just looks like cousin It, and I love her to death, but she looks like cousin It, and well, never mind. That being said, I can roll with it. It's not an issue. But the fact of the matter is, credit is great for months 2 through 10. 79% is exactly right.
Yep.
79% of businesses fail in the first year. If
Mhm.
you get past that first year, it flips the other way. 72% that make it through the first year will make it to 5 years. That first year is rough. It's like marriage in a way. That first year is really rough. After that, it gets a little easier and then it gets rough again. It's kind of like growing up. At age 3, you know nothing. At age 7, you know everything. At age 12, you know nothing. At age 15, you know everything. At age 21, you think you know everything, but you're not really sure. And by 35, you know that you're never going to know everything. The same thing
Yeah.
Exactly.
happens
And,
in
and everything
business.
hurts.
Yes, exactly. Things you didn't know you had hurt by 40 especially, but and I can say that because I'm in my 50s. But the fact of the matter is, if you have something people want or need and you can show them why they want or need it, credit's not the most important thing for getting started. But making sure you choose the right type of business is. So you have an idea to sell, uh, let's pick 2 letters, KVs. You're going to sell KVs. Nobody's ever heard of KVs before. It's a new idea that you have. It's a great business. These little things that remind you automatically the way Google would without your phone. You just wear this little ring or bracelet. It reminds you you're supposed to be somewhere at a certain time. Whatever. It's something great that you want to sell. Okay, KVs. Well, you need 2 things. You need customers and you need a way to produce or buy your KVs to resell. One of the two. Credit is one way to get there, but the other way to get there is what we call barter, which is contracts. And Angel, you and I have several of these with hundreds of other people.
Yeah.
Contracts, because whatever I'm not good at, and there's lots of things that Adam Strum is not good at, trust me. I don't want to come across like I know it all because I definitely don't. In fact, if this is it all, I know about that. But the fact of the matter is as long as I can find people who know the things I don't need to know them. And so capital, personal capital is more important than physical capital, in my opinion, in answer to Kenny's question. So surround yourself with people that have the qualities you're missing, and credit's not going to be your major issue. Although I agree 100% with what Angel said. Get your financial house in order. Get your credit there for when it gets a little rough, because no matter how good your product or service is, we all know the biggest company in the universe right now is Amazon.
Hmm.
For the first 3 years, they lost a ton of money. They got tax rebates every year for the first 3 years. They were in the red for the first 6 years. So, and they'll never see the red again, obviously.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is it does get rough no matter how good your product or service is. And good credit is something you want to fall back on, but you don't need it to get rolling.
Exactly. And both of you have covered it pretty well. The only thing that I would add is don't let credit hold you back. And that's because I'm a true entrepreneur, as both of you are as well. And use the resources. That's the key. There are always resources that can help you along the way. And that's why the 3 of us do exactly what we do, because we are connectors and we do have resources that we can connect the individuals to that are in that situation. But like I say, I think on every show, you need credit before you need credit. So you don't want to get yourself in that situation, but don't let credit be the stopping point for you because your credit isn't to where it needs to be.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Just take the leap of faith. Just do it.
Yep.
It. If not, you're always gonna be like, well, I'm not ready. The time's not perfect, and it never is. It just happens. You just gotta go into it. And when you say resources, well, in 2021 we have this amazing thing called the phone, and any information you could possibly want. It's
This
all
thing of a
at
Bob.
your feet. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The
I thought
fancy
this
New
was
York,
for air hockey.
the fancy New York number combiner.
There you go. I couldn't agree with you more, by the way. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you're basically saying, I'm not going to start.
You're not.
Exactly.
The perfect time to start is the minute you start.
Exactly. Exactly.
I got the second question here, and we're going to ask Kim this question. So, Kim,
Okay,
put on your shield, and here we go.
ready.
Carol, out in your neck of the woods, right there in California, is asking, is there a difference between personal credit and business credit?
Well, yes and no. There is a difference in building your personal credit and your business credit. But when you're a startup company, your personal credit is what matters, and you can't really build your business on business credit right out of the gate. So you most of the time when you are looking for business credit, you're going to look or the banks or lenders are going to be looking for a personal guarantor. And who's the personal guarantor? You, yourself, and the credit that is behind you. So it is a yes and no question, but they are both handled the same way as well, and you build them the same way. So let me throw that back to Adam, and then we'll.
Ugh. Is there a difference between personal credit and business credit? Is there a difference between my Ford Fusion and a Lexus? Both
They
have
both get they
no,
both
no.
get you
Hold
from A
on,
to
hold
B.
on. Let me explain. Both have four wheels. Both have an engine. Both have automatic steering and power windows and brakes and dual air
Right.
conditioning. So, is there really a difference? And the answer is, of course, there's a difference. Yes, both do the same thing, but they do it in different ways, and they do it with different status. And that's the point that I'm about to get to: is the status of business credit versus the status of personal credit. They work identically. When you're born, okay, you're issued a social security number, you're given a name on the birth certificate, both parents are smiling ear to ear, and you have a 580 credit score. That's right, an infant who can't speak yet and can only cry and sleep has a 580 credit score because that's the default score.
Mm-hmm.
Until they're 16, that score won't change, even if they are an entrepreneur and go out and earn $1 billion at the age of 12 because they're brilliant. They're Sheldon Cooper or they're, whoever. You have to be at least 16 for the credit bureaus to actually recalculate your score. So they're going to have a 580 no matter what. Businesses are going to have a 580 in the business world for that first year for two reasons. A, we all know that we just said 79% of businesses are going to fail in that first year. And so the expectation is failure because it's 2 to 1. You're 2 times more likely to fail than succeed. Also, over that first year, your odds are you're not going to make a whole lot of huge profits because you're going to be reinvesting in your company to grow it. And it takes into account the same life cycle, just the life cycle of business versus the life cycle of a person. So, is there a difference? Yes, there's a big, big difference, but they look identical when you're looking from the outside. That's
Mm-hmm.
my answer. I'll pass it to the expert. Angel, go ahead.
Yeah, I again, that was a home run yourself. Um,
Thank you. I try.
but no, yeah, they are different. Basic things. The personal credits. It's based on with your social security number and your business credit is on the EIN number, your federal tax ID number, and all that. But they do basically the same thing. They start off the same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
They The one thing that I will say though is that your personal credit does influence your business credit, right? As Kim said, you just can't go to Chase and say, "Hey, I got a business. Give me a line of credit. I'm going to be selling, lotions and creams," and they're like, "Oh, sure." They're going to look at your personal credit.
I want to
Most
live in
lenders,
that world.
yeah, right.
Exactly. If only, right?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I came up with a doohickey here. um,
I
but
want to make a product and call it that.
yeah, the doohickey.
You and I are going to partner up and make doohickeys.
Yeah, there
I'm
we
not sure
go.
what they're going to be yet. Give me some time to imagine it, but I think that's where you and I can
Yeah.
bridge that gap and actually co-partner in a company called Doohickey Inc.
Yeah, there we go. Doohickey.com. Okay. We're copywriting it now. Everybody that's watching
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
give us some
I will
money
have the
before you start
trademark
using
by
this.
morning, so don't try to take it.
um, but yeah, so there are lenders that they won't necessarily look at your personal credit, but they still want to see track record, that they still want to see that your business is making at least say $10,000 a month in net revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how is that feasible when it's a new business? It really
Mm.
isn't, right? I mean, unless you've been working a business as a sole proprietor through your own social, and there's a bunch of things there, but typically speaking, the commonality of it is to get business credit, to get a business loan, you need to have credit, good personal credit or average, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of people right now that are like, oh my God, the PPP loans, SBA government loans, woohoo, I'm free money, free money. They're applying and they're getting denied. They're like, what the heck? I thought the government was giving me money. But no, this is just an opportunity for you to get a business loan, but they're still going to look at your personal credit,
Right.
right? They're still going to look at a lot.
They've relaxed a lot of the rules, but I know lots of people who've come to me, and I'm sure they've come to you over at ABN. They're saying, I got denied because my personal credit's not good, but my business shows huge profits. Doesn't matter. You're still not meeting the qualifications. So I know exactly, I get those calls all the time, especially with the new PPP that just
Mhm.
came out, which not very smart of them. They made it the same as the original. Who has great receipts over the past 6 months to show in order to get approved? Nobody.
Yeah.
Very few companies have great returns over the last 6 months to show. They should be looking at last year's in order to make their decision, not 2020's.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
exactly. So, case in point, personal credit and business credit, they are different, but personal credit, as the both of you said, does affect business credit. So if your intentions are to get a business loan or to develop your business credit, focus also on your personal credit. Look at that,
Mhm.
see where that's at, and make the necessary adjustments and movements to get that where it needs to be, so you can actually get financed with your business.
Exactly.
All right. So,
Excellent information.
Kim, you're going to
Yes.
answer this question, but building on what you just said, our next question leads right into what you just said. And
Mhm.
Kim's going to give it to you. You're going to answer first this time.
Yep, exactly. And we've touched on it. So Tammy in Florida, she wants to know, how does she establish business credit?
Okay, so this is mine, right?
Yep.
All you.
All right, here we go.
Open
So,
field. We split the
all
we
right,
split the halfbacks for it. You're all set. Just run to the end zone.
there you go. We're going streaking. No.
Ah!
We're going to the
Nobody
quad.
wants to see me streak. Nobody.
um, so I have pretty much it's steps. It's steps that I tell my clients. I tell my clients these are the steps that you're going to want to do that are to establish your business, also to establish business credit. The first one's obviously incorporate your business or make an LLC, S corp, whatever it is. Set that up, right? Once you set that up, you're going to want to obtain your EIN number, your federal tax ID number. Once that's set up, now you can open up a bank account, a business bank account. You could go to whatever bank you want and open a bank account. From that point on, you could do it at the same time. You could establish a business phone number, and then with the bank or a lender, you can open a business credit file. Okay. Now I'm going down the list. I know that each one of these is you could really elaborate, but I just want to give the list here.
Oh no, you're right
Yep.
on target, my friend.
Yep,
Cool.
exactly.
So open up a business credit file, and then once you do that, apply for business credit cards. Now here again, this is where we go back to, will my personal credit affect my approval? If you get approved for those credit cards, amazing, that's awesome. Now you can establish a line of credit with, say, vendors and suppliers. And then the most important thing after you've done all that is pay your bills on time. Pay your bills on time, right?
Yep.
Make sure you pay your bills on time. Now, if for some reason on step 6 you didn't get approved for those business credit cards, then this is where you're going to want to look at your personal credit or look at the reason why, address that situation, and then you could go back and attempt to apply for business credit cards. But those are, in my opinion, the steps needed to establish business credit.
I do a lot of research on our questions, just so that I can make sure that I'm adding the right information and covering all the steps. And I have a list here, and Angel, you nailed every single one of them. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That was my last one, pay on time, because
Yeah.
that's what you're going to be establishing. So
Yeah, I know people that they're like, yeah, I got credit. I'm like, good, man, good. What are you gonna do? I got credit, and that's another conversation we could have. Oh, they don't even have a business plan. They got money, but they don't even know what they're gonna do with that money, and we already know where that's gonna go. And
scary. Yes.
yeah, so 3 months, 4 months, they're like, I'm having issues. I'm getting denied by vendors. I don't know what's going on. Did you pay your bills on time? I sent it in. I'm like, come on, man. You're a new business. You lucky you got some credit and you're doing that. That's, no, you can't do that. So yes, pay your bills on time. Make that a priority, and take it serious. Take it very serious
Mhm.
because that could really affect your business and the future of your business.
And you treat it just like when you were a young high school graduate getting those credit cards for $5,000 credit limit, and you go out and spend it all and then don't
All of
worry
a
about
sudden,
Yeah,
you're
payment.
paying $200 a
So
month, and
I was a victim of
same
that.
exact thing.
They found me outside of a college and like, hey, would you like a fancy pen and this basketball hoop you could put onto your door? I was like, wow, really? What do I got to do? Just sign right here. And then
Mhm.
the credit card came with a $800 credit limit, and this girl that I was seeing, she's like, "Wow, you got some money." I'm like, "Yes, I do." No, I don't.
you do, but you only do for a day or two before it's
Yeah,
maxed out.
yeah.
All right. So, Carol in Florida, really good question. I'm going to rewind a minute back to my Fusion versus Lexus. Because although you do have in business TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, the credit
Mhm.
reporting agencies, there's a secondary filter for businesses. Businesses have 3 of their own credit reporting agencies, 2 of which are actually divisions of the 3 you already know. But one of the most important places to get your business listed once you get that first credit card for your business that Angel was speaking of, you apply to Chase, Amex, Capital One, and they give you that first business card, you immediately want to establish your file with Dun and Bradstreet.
Right.
Dun
Yep.
and Bradstreet are considered the business credit gurus in the universe of America. If you're
Mhm.
listed with them, the odds are you'll be able to get those contracts and you'll be able to get flexibility that others can't get 30, 60, 90 days to pay an invoice without it affecting your credit negatively. I have plenty of vendors I work with where if they send me an invoice, I can pay it in 30 days, or I can pay it in 60 days, or I can pay it in 90 days, and there's no penalty as long as I let them know which time frame it'll be paid in by my accounts payable division.
Mhm.
So it's done DUNN and Bradstreet, just like it sounds, BRADSTREET. I highly suggest you go and do some research on them to understand what they do, which is rank businesses in their credit availability and their credit worthiness. And high level corporations that you might want to do work with as a small business. And we all do that. We all work with bigger companies than ourselves. Even Bezos works with companies bigger than himself. They may not be more financially large, but they're definitely larger in world dominance than Bezos is. And he works with them as well. I mean, he has some of his shipping goes through the USPS, some of his shipping goes through UPS, some
Mhm.
goes through FedEx. Amazon is actually starting to rival them in the logistics field, but they're still outsourcing some of their work because there are companies that do it better than they do. Dun and Bradstreet is how you establish your business credit quickly. Get that first credit account and then pay it on time. You guys were 100% on point. While you're doing that, get yourself listed at Dun and Bradstreet because every time you make that payment on time, they're going to give you more points on your ranking. And bigger companies will want to help you grow. They'll want to give you better terms because they see what you're doing with the one account you have.
Mhm.
To see or hear the rest of this discussion, click on part 2 of So You're Starting a Business. That's So You're Starting a Business, part 2, with our guest Angel Serna. Thank you.